Hey all my movie maniacs, yes, we're going right through some of these pictures, and I wanted to cover another film for you today, an unusual film that really was an interesting follow-up to the Human Tornado that Rudy Ray Moore did. And here we have Cliff Rockmore directing Rudy Ray Moore once again as the title character of Petey Wheatstraw. Yes, Petey Wheatstraw, the devil's son-in-law, is starring Rudy Ray Moore and his crew from the first two films. And here we get the story of Petey, who has a very unusual birth and coming into the world, but he soon grows up and becomes a very successful stand-up comic. Well, when he heads to a town where there's going to be another variety and comedy show led by Leroy and Skillet, well, that competition really doesn't like the fact that Petey Wheatstraw's in town is going to take away their business, especially since they're in deep with a very shady individual who's invested a lot of money in the Leroy and Skillet show. So we see how these two individuals try to put a stop to Petey Wheatstraw before he goes live and takes away their business. And meanwhile, Petey Wheatstraw has some dealings with the devil to help him succeed in his show and also get back at Leroy and Skillet. And all of this is mixed together in this unusual film. I enjoyed this story because I didn't know where it was gonna go and how. It opens with Rudy Ray Moore dropping some verse about Petey Wheatstraw and it lit in red, and I'm like, oh, okay, we've got a different film here than the first two films we've seen Rudy Ray in, like Dolomite and Human Tornado. This one's gonna be different, and it is. While you do still have your mixture of comedy and serious moments in here, it really has a different feel than the other two films. Now, Rudy Ray Moore playing Petey Wheatstraw, playing a stand-up comic, natural role for Rudy Ray Moore, and he falls into this very well, but it didn't feel like he was doing Dolomite again. He did add a little bit of a change to him. This character is just a little bit less outrageous than the Dolomite character, and I like that. I like that there was at least some variation. Now, the rest of his crew, again, back, Jimmy Lynch, he's got Leroy Daniels in here. Ernest Mayhand and Leroy Daniels show up as new characters, Leroy and Skillet, comedians in their own right, and it was great that they had these two characters, and they were surprising of what direction they took for them. Lady Reed is back. It was great to see her. She's got a smaller role in this film, but it was still great to see Lady Reed on screen, and J.B. Barron also shows up in a very small role as a doctor in the beginning. It opens with this outrageous birth scene of Petey Wheatstraw that is very comical, and then you work some other elements into it where there are some very comical shticks going on, but then there's some serious moments again, especially a really dark moment where there's the death of one character who you don't quite expect to happen, and then that's followed up with another rather serious and brutal scene after that, which wasn't just put in there just for shock value or anything. It was put in there to move the plot along. It plays a very significant role in the plot, and I enjoyed that. I'm glad that it wasn't just put in there to shock people. It did serve a role, and again, that mixture of tone and comedy and seriousness and messages in here as well. And they do a lot of fun supernatural stuff, including a shtick that they do with a stick, well, a cane actually, that Petey Wheatstraw has that Lucifer gave him because Petey makes a deal with the devil so he could get back at Leroy and Skillet, and then he tries to figure out how to get out of that deal. And yeah, the story is fascinating. The characters are fun. There is still kung fu in here as well, as you would expect, but it didn't quite end where I thought it was going to end with the character, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that quite a bit. So again, a film that is a great mixture. It has that formula we are seeing now, especially with the Rudy Ray Moore films, where you get this mixture of all different kinds of things that they're putting in this film. They're making the most of the budget that they have, and in the end, you come out watching this film going, wow, not only did they cover some serious subjects, but it was also entertaining, which modern films today seem to fail at times. So, yep, I gotta recommend Petey Wheatstraw as well. Check it out, folks. If you have seen Petey Wheatstraw, leave your comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts on this supernatural Rudy Ray Moore film. I appreciate your support. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.